Well, hello, everybody. Want to welcome you to Sealy by Design Saturday training. Today, we're talking about running a table, doing an exhibit. This is an amazing way to be able to get new and fresh contacts into your business. Well, one of the things people will often say is that, hey, I ran out of my warm market. I don't know how to get contacts. Well, I'll tell you what, these types of events throughout the spring and summer are going on all over the place. So you definitely have that opportunity to be able to tap into what's going on in your local area and to be able to start making some new contacts from that, fresh contacts. Not only that, but you can also make some money as well. In case you don't know, my name is Guy Brilando. I'm a C6 here with Sealy by Design. And last February, Brad Hager, Gary Sadowik headed up a show in Las Vegas. And at that time, it was the largest CBD expo in the history of the United States. It was huge, and we learned a lot from it. So what I'm going to share with you is a lot of those learnings from that show and working with Brad, and a little bit of what I have done over the years in my network marketing experience of what we found works better than other ways, right? So I'm definitely going to want to have a notepad and pen. There's going to be a lot of information coming at you with this. If you want my notes on this, I can email them to you. That's guyberlando@gmail.com. Or I'm also going to post this once it's all done. I'll upload it up onto YouTube, and it'll be on my Sealy Guy, Sealy with a space Guy YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find it there as well. I would imagine Brad at some point will post it maybe as well, but you'll always be able to find it there at Sealy Guy on YouTube. All right. So with that being said, we got a bunch of people that have joined us now, so that's great to see. I'm going to go ahead and kill my video, and I'm going to get this out of the way. Just moving some stuff. All right. So this is what this is all about. Create a winning display, collect new contacts, sell product, new member signups. One of the things I didn't actually put into my notes, but is really important, is that you want to sell enough product to cover the cost of the table. So I know if your table is costing you $50, $75, you want to price out your product based on the amount of foot traffic you're expecting and where you're doing this show in order to be able to sell enough product, make enough profit from that to be able to pay for your table. That's going to drive a lot of the cost of what we're doing here and how much you're going to charge for the different things. This is Lisa Fleming and DeCaria, one of her members out there in Atlanta. They had this nice little table. So, I mean, you can do from the very small to the very large, right? And you're going to see some examples in this presentation of that. What are some advantages? You're going to gain confidence. I was talking to Rishi, who worked with Dr. Young at a recent show that they did, and he was talking about how afterwards, the next day, he was out and about, and he was talking with his pharmacist, he was talking with people at the car wash, because he was in that mode of talking with people. And that's one of the things you'll find if you really engage at these events. You will find yourself, because you talked about it so much. You know, we always say it's not until you do the thing that you really understand it. And that's one of the things that these events do. They get you into understanding the whole process of how to communicate with people better. Obviously, you're going to get contacts, sell product, and then hopefully some new members out of it as well. Scalable means this can be from a very small, let me just bring it up. Okay, from very small, like a doctor's office or a chiropractic office or a PT, a physical therapy type office, or maybe a massage place. You could even go into, step it on up a little bit, maybe to a salon and tanning place. Any place that has a service orientated, you are more than welcome to, and as long as the owners allow you to be able to start pitching your product there or what you have, right? So those are just some ways, and that's a whole nother training on how you can get into a doctor office or something like that. Or if you want to step it up another level, let's talk about gyms. I know Elke has done a gym already. We got, I don't know, about 5, 6 new members from it. We got a whole bunch of customers, and a lot of those customers are still our customers well over a year later. Gyms are huge. All right. Then you got fairs and farmer markets. So now we're talking a little bit bigger, a little bit more traffic, right? And then we get into even larger events. I put bodybuilding in there because I know when my wife was bodybuilding, we would go to these bodybuilding events, and there's all these people selling all their different kinds of supplements. Well, because our product is so unique, I think that that could have a huge impact, and THC free, it could have an impact there. But just think of different types of events that are going on around your area that are health orientated. I'm sure there's all different kinds of health symposiums and things like that as well. And then we go even to bigger, like trade shows and expos, like what we did in Vegas. I know we've got another one scheduled in Atlanta with Ted Metz and Lisa Fleming out there. And I think it's now in June. Hopefully my knee's going to be okay so I can attend with them. But that's a lot of this. And just understand, there's going to be a lot of information here. If you're doing a small doctor office or a salon, you don't need to go to the far extent of everything I'm going to explain, right? You scale it down to what you need, a smaller table, less product, and you don't need all the other stuff that I'm going to get into. But if you are doing a larger, maybe like a fair or one of these, or the trade shows for sure, you're going to want all this information, all right? This down here came from talking with Dr. Young yesterday about, is it a consumer show or is it more business to business? So if it's just strictly business to business, in other words, it's just business people showing their stuff to other business people, that's not going to be as productive for a consumable product like what we have. But it is, so you're looking for more of one that's going to have consumer traffic coming through it. Just something to think about there. Preparation costs. You can spend a lot of money preparing, or if you do this and you think about it ahead of time, you start planning out ahead of time, you can actually do this at a very economical way. All right. And you want to try to keep the costs down because, like I said, you're going to want to recoup your costs through the selling of product through the show. This is Dr. Young. We've got Rishi over here on the left. We got Aaron over on the right. And this is pictures here to show you one of those pull-up banners, all right? So those pull-up banners, all these graphics, the company is doing everything they can to keep the costs down, right? So what they're allowing you to do, instead of them making a profit by selling you banners, they give you all the graphics in the back office, all right, under resources, and then you go to roll up banners, and there they are. And you can scroll through, see which ones you want. They got them in different sizes, tabletop. They got them in the big, the pull-ups like what you're seeing here. And then you take that, you put that on like a memory stick, and you take it to your local printer, and they will put the banner together. I think Vistaprint, you can probably do it through Vistaprint or some other online services as well. I would recommend getting a sturdy one, about 150, 200 bucks, somewhere in that area is probably what it's going to cost you. But these banners are really nice, and the nice thing is you can use it again and again and again for show after show. This was a banner we had up in Vegas. Dr. Young also used it at his most recent show. And I think this is dynamite because when you're showing this, you can point to the banner. And again, this would be more larger shows, right? This wouldn't be for the doctor's office, obviously. You could have this printed out in your little booklet that you're showing people the slides of the before and after pics we'll get to here in a bit. You could just have that as a page in there to show them in the back if they wanted to know how to do this, or all the stuff that comes with starting this as a business, right? But I mean, look at that. You're getting a doctor-approved products, you get a website, an e-commerce store, you're getting drop shipping, merchant processing, business plan and training, business management tools, marketing materials, and much more. So it's a complete setup in less than 10, 15 minutes. That means them filling out the application and getting them into the system, all right? So I just threw that one in there. This is another banner that you can see back here that I'm going to show, but the graphic I've got is not really good, but I'm going to show what that is here in a bit. And then the idea here, what I'm trying to show you is that how much do you put out, right? Now, this was the main table that we had in Vegas. It was a large table. You can see we had another table back here. Here's our monitor. We had actually another table you can't see that was 90 degrees to here, but this was a large booth, all right? You're typically not going to have that kind of large booth. I think they put in over 10 grand into this show. You're not going to be doing that, all right? So we sold like $40,000 in products. So it was a huge, huge success, all right? But this smaller one, or like the one you saw in the very beginning with Lisa, with just a little table and having like a nice tablecloth on it. You can get these on Amazon. You can get the cloth on Amazon to fit your table so it's nice and snug. And then you can also take again, all this logo stuff and these pictures and stuff are in your back office, put it on your memory stick, take it to your local printer, or I believe Vistaprint will do it for you as well, and have something really nice done up. Again, the company is not selling this stuff in the back, because if they do it, they're going to have to not only recoup their costs, they're probably also got to put on a little bit of profit to make it worth their while, right? They're saving money, saving you money by giving you all the tools you need to be able to go ahead and do it yourself, okay? This is a really neat way to display as well. You can get these plastic glasses, wine glasses, champagne glasses, different sizes at a dollar store. For the ones that I have done, that's where we got everything. We got it all at the dollar store. Dollar store is amazing, or Dollar General, whichever one you may have near you. They're amazing. They've got so much of this stuff, that little nitnoid stuff that you can get there. The point all of this too is you don't want to have too much out there. So if you've got a smaller table, greatly reduce the amount of product. If you got a large table like Dr. Young has here, or we had here, you can get away with doing this, but you can see how neat and orderly it is all laid out. That is very, very important in all this, okay? So you don't want to clutter your table. I've seen some people that have cluttered tables. I probably should have given an example, but what you don't want is a cluttered table, because people will walk right past it. The tables that will have more grab people's attention is when there's only a few products out there, because that catches their attention. If you got too much out there, it is too much, and their mind can't absorb it, and they just keep walking by. Trust me, that's from lots of experience of doing a lot of these. He's got his little other banner up here, so that's cool too. All right, here's another example of a monitor. You can see how much less product that Lisa has out in front of hers. And you can see that she's got the monitor, and what we recommend is putting together some of the before and after pictures into a little loop video. Take your laptop, bring a TV monitor, or if nothing else, if it's a small one like this, you can even get away with just your laptop, and have that continuously playing, so that it grabs people's attention and they can see it. That also is going to make sure that you've got power, right? So if you don't have power at your booth, some of these, especially if you're doing a show, an expo type, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for everything to include. You want power? Oh, that's another $100, all right? Or whatever it is. You want internet? Oh, that's another $200, you know? So just beware, ask those kinds of questions. But this is a very, very effective tool to have, all right? Now we're going to get into some of the prep. All right, so that's kind of the bigger picture. Now we're going to get into the prep. What's all the stuff you need to gather and have ahead of time? Because there's a lot when you really get into this. Again, scalable. If you're just going to a doctor's office or a chiropractor or salon, you don't need as much of this stuff, but some of it you're definitely going to want to have. You're going to want to have professional business card holders, right? You're going to have your business cards, of course, and that goes without saying. And then you're going to have a nice professional business card holder that's out there on display, so you can easily grab it, or people walking by can grab it as well. And then these information cards, these things are huge. This is what we had at the show. I do have a PDF document of it, but you know, you can make them up yourself just as easy. These are huge, all right, and this is going to serve a multitude of purposes. First of all, you're collecting their information. That's the most important part of it, right? Because the fortune is going to be in the follow-up. So you got a name, email, phone number, and then I'm interested in Sealy by Design, product only, opportunity only, both product and opportunity. All right. Now you can also collect their business cards. So make sure you have a stapler there, so you can staple the business card directly to this, and then just make sure you mark down which one of these it was for that person. All right. And then, and we're going to get more into this, but I'm just showing you this now. And then on the back of the card, after the person's gone, you're going to fill in your name, especially if you got multiple people working the booth. This is how you're going to keep track of whose leads are who. You put down your name or initials, however you want to do that. We used a 1, 2, and 3-star rating, if you will. 1 star was like, yeah, whatever. 2 stars, maybe there's potential. 3-star, absolutely, you want to follow up with this person. All right. And then you want to jot down some memory things. At this show, we were talking to hundreds of people. I mean, I think we ended up with over 350 leads, Elka and I did. So there's no way you're going to remember everybody. But when you put a little memory jogger behind it, then that will help you remember who it was. And then you can also put in, I would, instead of tomorrow, I would actually put a date in there. So put in the next date. But anyhow, that gives you kind of the idea. All right. As far as having samples out on the table, this came up with another rep member yesterday, and I hadn't really thought about this before, because what we have always done is used, like, we got them at the dollar store. You can get these communion cups or little tiny clear Dixie cups or plastic cups at the dollar store. It costs $1, right, for like a 50 or 100 of them. Or you can get these really nice communion cups. So you can see them here on Amazon for $10. So that is a nice thing. And that's maybe, that is utilizing the swish bottle and pouring a sample into each of those cups, right? I was speaking with a member, and they were talking about, well, in the back office, you can buy these samples in bulk, and it brings the price down. And you got 3 of those samples per each one of those sample mailers, right? So I did a little bit of math here, not including the cups. You're spending about $150, 3 bottles, right? So $50, $100, and $150. So you got 3 bottles, and you're getting about 108 servings out of that, right? 36 a serving, or 36 a bottle, right? 72 and 108. Well, if you break this down, you can buy 50 of these for $160. And now you've got 150 of these very professional looking little vials, right? The only challenge with these is sometimes this cap is hard to get off. All right. I don't know if you've experienced that yet or not, but that is the only drawback I can see by doing this method, by having a whole bunch of these mailers, because then you also have this material left over to be able to give to a person, like a flyer, like, what, do you have any information about your product? Yeah, here, and you just give them that without the swish inside it. So that is an option. I think that's a dynamite idea. That's new. I haven't even run that one by Brad yet, but it works. I mean, it would definitely work, and it definitely looks professional. If you saw on that table that we had in Vegas, we had these out. This was before the sample program came out, but Brad had a bunch of these vials that were waiting to be shipped. And so we were using these to give to people so that they took a sample there the day of the show, and then we gave them another one of these or 2 of these vials to take the next 2 days. So basically they got a 3-day sample. But I'd be very smart in how you're doing that. You're not going to do that for everybody, but somebody that is really, has got a lot of issues, and you think maybe 3 days worth would help them, and they would say, hey, if this really helps me, I'm definitely going to be buying from you. Then you might want to give a couple of these vials away as well. So this may be an economical way to approach that. Those info cards that you have that you fill out, once they're done, they walk away, then you're going to drop them into a basket or a jar some way so that you're collecting them, right? And then we have giveaways. So this is that banner I was showing you in the back of Dr. Young's thing earlier. At the CBD show, the big show that we did, we were giving over $1,000 worth of product over the term of the show. Now you're probably, if you're doing a doctor's office, something like that, hey, you know what? Give away maybe a free spray at the end of your time there. You're there for 2 hours, you're collecting the information, and at the end of it, you give away a free spray. All right. Or maybe you want to give away a free bottle of swish, something along those lines, whatever you want to do. You're doing a little bit bigger show. It's going to be several hours. You can give away maybe a spray an hour, so you're pulling a name out of the hat every hour out of the basket, or you could do it one at the end of the show, maybe your event. Smaller ones, maybe you give away a bottle and a swish. The whole purpose of that is for collecting the data from the people, right? They don't go into the hat or into the basket for a drawing unless they have filled out their information. So now you have a way to follow up with them. So it's just an incentive for the people to fill out the info card. All right. What Dr. Young did at his show, they gave away one $300 giveaway basket of product. And they got a lot of leads from doing it that way. So that's just another method of doing it. This is a blow up of the table. You can see those little communion cups right here, ready to go. This is putting them in one of those little mesh bags. For anyone that was around here in Christmas for the trim special, the company gave us all those red bags. You could use those for it if your show special will fit in it. Or you can buy these blue bags. Again, you can get these mesh bags at a dollar store, or I'm sure you can get it on Amazon as well. The next thing I have on here is your presentation booklet. As you can see, this is the presentation booklet. It's just a little In fact, I'll bring up my video so you can see I've got mine right here too. So you're just looking for something to be able to have a flip chart, right? So you've got the whole presentation done out, and now you're going to have the before and after pictures. If something comes up, you've got slides to be able to talk off. If you're not as comfortable, and I'm telling you, it's a lot easier to talk off the slides than to, and here you got the microscopy slides, you know, and then in the back, I've got the information. You got the prosperity plan. So if somebody wants to actually look at the business aspect, this is where I would have that turnkey information in there as well. And then you got the ways to get started, and you also got the prosperity plan chart. All right, so that's kind of the idea on that. Of course, that's all available to you in the back office as well. All right. More on the prep. I would definitely recommend on your phone having a separate photo folder with all the before and after pictures arranged really nice, along with the microscopy, the movies, the before and after. You can, if you don't have them, you can grab them off a Sealy Lifestyle page. We've got them up there. I would have all that on your phone. You can have the binder, but the binder can get a little, you know, cumbersome with everything else that you're going to have in your hand that I'm going to be getting to here. So the binder usually sits on the table and it's something you can flip through, but having it on your phone is just a really, really neat thing. The other thing is that if you access it through your phone, you can also show them, hey, we've got a Verb app. We've got an app on our phone. So now you can start talking about the app a little bit. And the other important thing about all this, I'm holding my phone. I don't even have my camera on. But the other important thing about the phone is that you're explaining that this is a business you can take with you anywhere. So you're dropping little hints along the way about the business opportunity. All right. But I highly recommend having that all pre-gone. You're definitely going to want to have a clipboard. On that clipboard, you're going to have your info cards. You're going to have an ingredient sheet of the ingredients from the swish. So in case that comes up, you can show the person real quick. You're going to have, I have the packs and chart. I have that front and back. Dr. Young had the application and the packs front and back. So however you want to do that, but then you also want to have the apps. I just always like having the chart in case somebody happens to be a network marketer. Man, I can go right in and start showing them how powerful our prosperity plan is. So I like having that very, very handy myself. All right. But you're definitely going to want to have a clipboard with that kind of information on there. And then this is totally going to be scalable as well. Are you going to have products there to sell? How much are you going to have there to sell? What's the price you're going to do? So let's just kind of talk a little bit about that. You're buying your bottle for say $50. You sell it for say $80. You're making $30 on a bottle. All right. Now, maybe this is a smaller show, you know, or depending on the demographic, $80 might be too high, right? So maybe you have to back that down to 65 or something along those lines. All right. Or you sell it 80 with a free spray, something along those lines. You know, so you want to advertise it. Now, if you're getting into a bigger show, you can start offering a bottle with a sampling of all the sprays for say like $120. All right. You're still making a profit. But again, this goes back to how big is your table? How much is it costing you for the space? You know, if you're going into a salon, a gym, they probably aren't charging you anything. So now you can bring those prices way down. But if you're going into a large expo where you're spending a few $100s or $500 or $1,000 on a table, then you got to start figuring out how are you going to recoup your finances to get that cost of the table covered. All right. Once the cost of the cover of the, I got a spelling error. Woo. Hopefully nobody else saw that. No, y'all did. Once the price of the table is covered and you've got multiple people working the booth, everything else is profit for that person. All right. But until then, it all goes into a pool, whatever you guys sell, and it goes into a pool to help cover the cost of the table. All right. So we had people getting started. We were selling everything: pros, networkers, intro packs, consumer packs. And obviously we had enough product to give that person all the product right then. When we filled out their information, we just told them that we told the warehouse not to send the product. So if you're running a show like that, definitely coordinate with your upline, and we'll coordinate with the owners of the company to make sure that happens. If that's something you want to do, you can do this in many different ways. You don't even have to have the packs there. You just sign them up and they'll get it in the mail like everybody else. Okay. I would also recommend having buttons there. So if somebody does sign up and get started right away, you want to give them that button. All right. So that's just something in there. And then another thing that you might not have thought about, that you're going to want to have some sort of way of being able to run a credit card. So have your Square account ready to go. I would recommend Square. It's a lot better than PayPal. PayPal, if they find out it's CBD, they're going to shut you down. I lost my PayPal account for my book because they also found out that I was selling CBD through it. And they shut me down, closed me out. I can't even get a local one. I mean, just a personal one. They completely shut me out because of CBD. So I recommend Square, just a heads up there. Keep all your team members involved as you're preparing, right? This is still all under the prep. Keep your team members all involved and informed. Work together as a team. Let them know what's going on. Delegate. Have them maybe do some of this prep work, and just work together as a team. All right. Remember to promote on social media ahead of time, because that is a huge ability for you to be able to attract more clients into your local area. So don't forget about that. Meetups. There's an app called Meetup. If you're not familiar with, I would definitely set up a Meetup on there and start advertising your event there as well. And that's for everybody that's going to be working your booth, right? If you've got multiple, well, we're going to get to that actually. Now the day of, right? So you want to get there early to set up. Again, this is going to depend if you're at a gym, if you're at a doctor's office, or you're doing a large expo, right? But you want to get early. You want to get set up. What the last thing in the world you want to do is allow yourself to get stressed out, right? The doors are about to open. My God, you're still trying to put up your display. So forget that. All right. Get there early, get yourself set up, and then go have a cup of coffee. All right. The last thing in the world you want to do is be rushing. Clean up the area around your table space. I can't tell you how many tables I walk by at these different events and different shows and fairs and stuff like that, and they got their stuff all over the place. Hide it underneath the table. The banner or the tablecloth should be able to cover that, but just clean up your area. If you've got trash that comes out during the process, make sure you got waste baskets so you can get rid of the trash. Just keep it clean all the time. Do not let your area, your show be, or your table be messy. And like I said earlier, the less busy, the better. You want to dress appropriately. I mean, if you're an outdoor fair, you don't need to be, and it's 90 degrees outside, you obviously don't need to be in a suit and tie, all right? If you're at an expo, for men, I would recommend a sport jacket at least. And for the women, I would just be dressed up at least one level from what you're expecting from the patrons. All right. If you're at some cannabis event and you're expecting a bunch of kids dressed in raggedy t-shirts and jeans, then just wear something nice. If you're going to a full-up expo where people have the tendency to dress nicer, then dress one level up from what you expect your patrons to be. Wear your buttons goes without saying. Have a team meeting that morning of. If you've got multiple people working this booth, you want to explain, how you're going to do this. Again, small show, you're sitting behind the table, or you've got the only table there, not sitting behind it, but you've got the only table, and that you don't have to worry about shifts, right? You don't have to worry about a meeting. But if you've got a larger group, 3, 4, 5 members, maybe you want to have shifts so that 2 or 3 are out in front of the table collecting the leads. The others are behind the table, and they can go walk around, they can get food, they can look at the other parts of the show, and you go run in 15, 30-minute shifts, and then you shift out, and then the next 2 people can get the next set of leads that come through. All right, just some ideas. Again, this is all just throwing out some ideas, things to think about depending on the size of the show that you're running. This is Aaron, and definitely you want to be out in front of the table. You want to have at least one person, if not 2 people, out in front of the table, so that when he starts engaging with these 2 people, if another person walks by, Dr. Young's trapped behind the table. All right. So, Rishi's back here as well. I think that's Rishi. But you definitely, want to have at least 1 or 2 people out in front of the table, and you want to be able to start the conversation. We're going to get that into in a moment. I recommend having the clipboard in hand because you got the info card right there. You got the ingredient list. You got your phone with you to show the microscopy, all that kind of stuff. You're just prepared and ready to go. You got your booklet laying on the table. If you need to pick it up, you can. I would recommend having 2 or 3 of these. And so if you're using one, somebody else that's just looking at the table, they can flip through it on their own as well. So that's something else to kind of keep in mind. Be upbeat, smile, lots of energy. This is your show, and this is your chance to shine. You remember, you're representing Sealy by Design, not just you and your business, but you're also representing the company. So put your best foot forward. And then this is how you start getting into a conversation. I just threw down some examples. You can come up with some of your own, but you want to make sure you're asking an open-ended question. That means it's not a yes or no answer from the other person. So I got down here, you're sitting at a doctor's office or maybe a salon or something like that, and the person's kind of looking at you and you go, yeah, this is, we sell CBD. How familiar are you with CBD? All right, that's a nice way to open up. They're going to tell you something. I've never heard of it. All right, I've seen the big block letters. I use it every day. And that gives you some way to start working into it. But don't go right into your thing from there. All right, that's no. You got to ask 2 or 3 of these questions, open-ended questions, to get the other person talking. And eventually you're working into giving them permission to start talking about what you have. So how familiar are you with CBD? Oh yeah, I take it on a daily basis. Oh really? What is your main health concern that you're taking the CBD for? Oh, I'm just taking it for general health. Oh, that's great. Health important to you? How is it important to you? What else do you eat right? And blah, blah, blah. Well, let me show you what we do, because this is also more than CBD. It's also a complete nutritional with 90 vitamins, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you can work into gyms. People are going there for their health and fitness, right? So make a question about that. What about your health? What about health and fitness? Is that important to you? All right. How is it? Actually, that should be, how is it important to you? All right. I know, how about, something along those lines. At the larger expos, this is what we use as a staple. So what brought you to the show today? Now you're standing out in front, somebody's walking by. If you're behind the table, 90% of the people are going to walk right past that table. So this is another reason why you're standing out in front of the table and you've got your clipboard in hand and they're walking by and go, hey, what brought you to the show today? With a big smile and a lot of energy, all right? Hey, what brought you by the show today? 1 or 2 out of 100 now are going to walk past you. There'll still be people that just totally blow you off. But I will tell you what, 9 times out of 10, they're going to stop and they're going to tell you. All right. And you're going to be able to start engaging them. Hey, would it be okay if I showed you something real quick? And then I'm showing them the microscopy. That's what I did at the show. Obviously, this was a CBD show, so I wanted to show them what was different about our product. Another method, and Rishi was sharing this with me yesterday about they were doing, because Dr. Young at his show, they were giving away $300 of the product, which is a very big giveaway. They were saying, hey, he was walking around to the other vendors and with his info card saying, hey, we're giving away $300 worth of product. You want to enter the drawing? And then he would get their name and information, right? And so whether he talked about it right there or then, which may or may not be the right environment, it just depends. But at least you got their information that you can follow up with them afterwards, right? You got a new lead. So that was kind of cool. Maneuver, and you can do that whether you're giving $300 away or not, right? It doesn't mean just for $300. So if you're working shifts and you got a couple people out front of the table, or 1 or 2 that aren't necessarily working the table at a time, you could be walking around to the other vendors with your info cards and saying, hey, we're giving away a free bottle of Swish and a spray at the end of this show. Would you like to enter for the free giveaway? It's worth about $100. And then, or you can give, if you're giving one away an hour, you can use that as well. So it's all, scalable. Exactly. Maneuver convo to USP. Anybody know what USP is? Unique selling proposition. As everybody knows, we have aquaceutical nanotechnology, aquaceutical cellular technology. That is our USP. All right. If there's any doubt in anybody's mind, now you know. That is created by 4 scientists with 9 PhDs. It's water encapsulation, not water soluble or water infused. All right. So somebody says, oh yeah, I've seen that water CBD stuff before. Oh no, you haven't seen what we got. And that's another reason to show in the microscopy, because a water soluble CBD cannot do what we do with that microscopy. And then you can also get into the ingredients. All right. So you don't need to get in all the technical jargon, but I would know that part where it's water encapsulated, not water soluble. It is created by the technology was developed by 4 scientists with a collection of 9 PhDs. If you've heard my webinars, I like to say, to have your product backed by 1 PhD is awesome, but to have it backed by 9 PhDs, that's almost unheard of, but ours is, all right? We also have the proprietary rights to it. So nobody else, these scientists are not selling this to anybody else, at least not at the moment. All right. So nobody else, this is unique to the world. You cannot get this type of delivery system in a nutritional anywhere else in the world to our knowledge at this time. So that is our USP. You want to foot stomp that one big time. That's how they're going to get your attention, or you're going to get their attention. They may ask you, well, what makes you different from everybody else? Do you need to have those bullets ready to go? Practice that over and over again. Ask them if they'd like to try a sample. This is where you get them to fill out the info card. All right. And you can also tag on, and we're also giving away a free spray every hour, this at the end of it. Okay. So okay. So I got another typo. David's sending me, I have another typo in here. Oh, right here. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, David. Anyhow, sorry about that. So I will correct all my typos. Thank you. Let's see here. So you want to have them fill out the info card. All right. Before you give them a sample. So you're asking, hey, would you like to have a sample? Would you like to try it and see that, experience that there's no taste here? We have had people at the show come back within an hour going, oh my God, I can't believe that pain in my knee is gone. All right. I know that other people have had it too. When we were doing business briefings, we would have people that would stand up when we got to the testimony part of the business presentation. It was about 45 minutes into it, 40 minutes into it when you're doing a live presentation. We would have people raise their hands in the audience saying, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can feel the difference from when I first tried that sample when I walked in the door. So definitely you want to get them to do a sample, but before they do a sample, you have them fill out that info card. And then you give them the sample, however you're doing it, whether it's out of the communion cups or you're doing it out of the vials, and then explain to them that they need to swish for the full minute. All right. Don't just give it to them and then tell them, because especially if you're doing it out of the communion cup, they've already swallowed it before you got to this part. So before you hand it to them, tell them that you want to have them swish it for a full minute. And then while they're swishing it, oh, you got their attention. What else are they going to do, right? So point out the lack of taste while they're swishing, start showing them some of the before and after pics. And start sharing some stories, your own personal testimony, some of the others that we have as you're sharing the before and after pics, and then also offer them your show special. Make it easy for them. Oh my gosh, this is amazing, because we're doing this show. We're really just promoting our product right now. We're selling it at an amazing deal. You can get a bottle of Swish and a spray, which would normally be about $100. We're selling that for 20% off at $80. Or 75, whatever you're doing, 25% off at $75. So make them understand the value of your show special. All right. It's a turnkey business. So you're going to ask, if you're in the course of this conversation, it sounds like maybe they've got some network marketing experience or something like that. Start asking questions around it. All right. This is how we got people to sign up. Hey, how familiar are you with network marketing? What do you enjoy most about network marketing? These are two powerful questions. If you're ever talking with a network marketer, what did you enjoy? If they're not doing it anymore, they got a bad taste in their mouth or something like that about it. This is powerful. What did you enjoy most about network marketing? What got you the most excited about it? Why did you get started to begin with? Something along those lines. And then the second question, this is awesome, taking notes. If there was one thing about network marketing that you could change, what would that be? And boom, you've got the answer for them. All right. So, because we've got the app, if it's contacts, we got the app, the way to be able, 800 assets already done for you. You can just send out. It's just amazing. It's so easy to answer that question. It's unbelievable. And whatever question whatever answer they give to that question, so if there's one thing about this network marketing industry that you could change, what would that be? And then listen to what they say and then respond into it very passionately and sincerely. And then you're selling them a show special, you're signing them up, you're thanking them. And if anything else, if you can, book a follow-up date and time right there. And then you're going to put that on the back of that info card, right? After they leave, turn over the info card, your name, like I showed you, 1, 2, 3 star, info about them and your conversation, and then place the card into the drawing basket. And then don't forget about giving away. You might want to set an alarm if you're doing it hourly, because it's very easy. You can get busy and you might completely forget about it. All right. If you're doing it at the end of the show, that's pretty easy. And if you've got somebody with a vibrant personality, you can even stand out in front of the table and kind of like just collect, maybe have a bell or something, start getting a bunch of people to collect around for the big drawing, right? So whatever you want to do on that, but just don't forget it. Some other notes in the point of the conversation, make it about them. This is not about you per se. This is about the patrons. The patrons are there for a reason. Find out what that reason is. All right. That's why you're going to start the conversation with those open-ended questions. If they come back, oh, I don't know, I'm just kind of checking things out. Well, that didn't give you any information, right? Right. So maybe from there you could say, hey, well, let me ask you, how familiar are you with CBD? Can I show you something? Is it all right if I show you something? Always get their permission, but instead of just shoving the phone or the pictures in their face. Get their permission first to be able to share what you have to share. Hey, is that all right if I just show you something real quick? I got this right here on my phone. Can I just show you this? Look at this. This is chronic inflammation. And I'm showing in the microscopy. So maybe they say, oh, all those CBD things don't work. Yeah, I've tried it. It hasn't worked. Oh, really? Do you know what the number one challenge is with CBD? Pause, wait for their answer. They don't know, but it's the absorption, right? You go back to our USP. Let me show you how we are different from anything else on the planet. The reason why you didn't have any result from that most likely is because you're only getting 10% absorption versus our 99% absorption, all right? So you just want to start getting down and start getting a little bit more specifically. How do you write these down. This is very, very important. This is NLP. I'm going to give you a little bit of bonus training here if you want it. Everybody want it? Okay. How specifically, what specifically, who specifically, if there's somebody like, oh yeah, my cousin's neighbor down the street, from them had tried it and they said it didn't work. Well, okay, so this person never really tried it, right? So who specifically said that CBD didn't work? Was that you, or is it somebody you know? What did they have going on? What was their situation? What was their health concern that they were trying to correct? Or were they completely healthy? So you just want to nail down, get specific with them. So now you have a better basis on which to talk with them from. Once the show is all over, definitely debrief yourself. But if you've got a team of other people there, you want to collect everybody. You can even do this before you start tearing down the booth, or tear down the booth and then get together with your group and have a debrief. Hey, what went right? What could have gone better? So you guys can all learn from this. Because if you don't capture that right now, and somebody needs to be taking notes on it, I would imagine the person heading up this whole event, but you'll forget. All right, there might be little things, and so you kind of want to just start talking about the day's events, and then things will click in people's minds. And oh yeah, there was this thing happened, and oh, I wish I would have said this, or I said this, and man, the person lit up. All right, or we should have had this ready to go because the way it wasn't as convenient. It could have been better. All right, so you definitely want to run a debrief, and then of course the follow-ups. If anyone's done events in their past, the amount of, fortunately for us, because we are so unique, and especially if you're running at a CBD event, you're going to sell product. There's no doubt. At a salon and at a doctor's office, you may or may not. But again, you're not paying anything for the table. At a gym, you will sell products, especially the Boost and the Swish. That is your show special right there, right? But you need to follow up with the people afterwards. And if you don't have a date and time booked already on the back of your card, then you definitely going to start calling these people back. And if you don't get a hold of them, I would send them a text. And if you don't get a hold, and an email. All right, but I would always try calling them first. Brad teaches, I think it's like 3 or 4 times. And on the third time, it's 3 times. And on the third time, you're leaving him a voicemail. He doesn't even leave a voicemail the first 2 times. You could also send him what Elka likes to do. She sends him a quick text message. Hey, Bob, this is Elka from the show yesterday. It was a pleasure meeting you. I'm going to give you a call here in about 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I just wanted to let you know it was my number. Now, if they don't answer, maybe they're still busy or whatever, but at least, because the unknown numbers, how many people do you pick up for when you don't recognize the number? That's the reason for doing that. That's just Elka's technique, however you want to do it, as long as you're getting through to the person and talking to them. And then when you have that follow-up call, you definitely want to have that note card in the back of the note card and start recounting the conversation with them. Hey, Bob, remember how you were so excited about that microscopy, you know, with the chronic inflammation, and you were talking about wanting to lose weight, or you're talking about having challenges sleeping at night, but you weren't ready to go. You didn't have your credit card with you. You didn't have the $80 in cash with you, whatever it is. And so you're following them up and you're leading them towards making that sale now. Hey, you can just go to my website, or I'll tell you what, you have the application in front of you with the pen in hand, just as Brad taught again on Wednesday, and ready to fill out that application and get them started, whether it's as a customer or as a member. All right. Remember, it's also going to take you 5 no's or so for a lot of these to be able to turn into a yes. So don't get disappointed in the first time and say, well, you know what, if they's like, you know what, I'm really not, I don't know if this is for me or not. Well, I'll tell you what, Bob, would it be all right with you? Again, asking permission. Would it be all right with you if I just sent you a link, or I sent you some information, and now you're sending it from your Verb app, obviously. Maybe you want to send them the 30-minute webinar. I've got those recorded, right? If you want one of those, let me know. Or you're going to send them the ingredient list, or you're going to send them the microscopy, that quick microscopy video, which is about 2 minutes long. Whatever you're sending it, you're trying to get them to the next, you're booking a meeting from a meeting, right? Bam, fam. So you're trying to get them additional information so that you can follow up with them again. You might even want to consider inviting them now to the Sealy lifestyle page, right? That, or private Facebook group. That thing is awesome. If you guys aren't plugging into that by now, you're missing out, because it's huge. It's a way to convert people. It's already worked for me. I know it's worked for Carla, it's worked for Laura, and other people that are really utilizing it. It's converting people into members and customers. So make sure you're using that. Capture the moments along the way, get your camera out, take pictures. If anybody is buying or selling, ask them if it's okay to, if I take your picture, and share that excitement then on your social media. Do it appropriately on the lifestyle. Remember, this is not your event on the Sealy Lifestyle. This is a community for everybody in Sealy Lifestyle. Don't be trying to get people to your event on Sealy Lifestyle. That is not what that community page is, but share the excitement. Hey, here's a couple that I can't remember their names offhand, that just got started with a consumer pack, and they got to meet with the owner of the company. You know, how exciting. We're so excited for them. That would be an appropriate post for the Sealy Lifestyle. For your post on your personal page, it may be something more like, hey, we just had this show at XYZ location, and man, the show was amazing. And look at this local couple that just got started. All right. So these people actually came in with a pro pack, they came in with a consumer pack, and he came in with a networker pack. I just realized I didn't even know that when I put these 3 up there. That's just totally by accident. But those were 3 of the business packs that we sold at the show. And then afterwards, celebrate. You know, maybe you got a big group, maybe you got a few people, but everybody worked really hard at the show. Do something nice. Take them out to Dairy Queen, if nothing else. Do something as to build that rapport with your team a little bit deeper. All right. So I just encourage you to have fun with it. This is my wife. She's so silly sometimes. I love her to death, Elka. But just have fun with it. And what I'm going to do now is, if anybody has questions, they can, I think you can raise your hand. And if not, I can allow you guys to talk. But if somebody has a question, you want to raise your hand, go ahead and do so. David, let me just unmute you real quick. Are you there? David, can you hear me? All right, let me go to Laura. Oh, there's
I can
David.
hear you. I can hear you.
David. Hey, do you have a hand that you can raise there?
I do.
All right, perfect. So does anybody have any questions? A lot of information I just went through. Does anybody have any questions or comment they would like to make in regards to the to this training? We're 50 minutes into it. All right. Well, in that case, I hope everybody enjoyed it. Go out and knock them dead. Again, take a look at all the different ways to be able to be doing a small table to a large table in your area. I think that there is so many ways to be able to get new contacts through this. It is amazing. And the more you're spreading the good word about Sealy by Design, the more people that hear about it, the more it's just going to accelerate your sales in your local area as well. So with that being said, it's been my pleasure to share this with you today, and hopefully you got something out of it. You guys go out and make it a great day. Bye-bye.